start. Okay, so it says we're live, but I'm gonna wait for it to go over to the YouTube to make sure that it's definitely live because I haven't messed up before. Okay, great. Okay, we're live. Hey guys, welcome to our first Red Rising live show. I've got Becca and Mike with me here at the moment. Liz will be joining soon, and Natasha and Alex aren't able to make it this time, unfortunately, just due to some personal issues at work, but we will try and get them on board later down the track. But for now, you have us, and we're here to talk all things Book 1 Red Rising. So that's super exciting. You guys want to do a quick introduction of who you guys are and your little history with the series and the book?
Sure. Yeah. Mike and Becca from the Books and Looks, a little smaller channel, but we basically we're in book 2 because of Red Rising. Mike fell in love with the series.
It's not love, it's an obsession, okay? Just get it right for once. Good Lord. No, yeah, we love the book. It's by far my favorite book I've ever read. And I've read it a few times, and I got to meet Pierce Brown at the Howler Fest, which was I totally groupied out and just
he's a little fangirl.
I fangirled hard. I did. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm so jealous. I would have killed to go over there.
Next
time I also would have made a complete dick of myself. So I'm glad I didn't.
You can't make it.
You did that. Yeah, we're good.
Good enough for me. I mean, hopefully there'll be one for Dark Age. I mean, I doubt it, but
never know.
In a perfect world. World.
Yes.
We'll see.
Alrighty. So, do you guys want to go first in terms of, I guess, you've read it a few times, as you said. Your kind of first experience with it, like when you picked it up for the first time, did someone recommend it to you? Were they just kind of were you like, oh, what's this sort of thing?
Yeah, so actually I saw Natasha and Pierce's Nerd Off, and I fell in love with how much he knew about Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. I was like, I don't care who this guy is. He's my favorite author. I don't know what he's written. And so eventually I was like, I should probably read what he wrote. That's how I picked up Red Rising. And I read it, and I had a similar experience with the first. There's a ton of world building because it takes place 300 years in the future. So, the first 50 pages take some effort to get through. They're not super fast paced. I still really enjoyed it, but I know the first time I read it, once you get through that though, I think I finished it within hours. When I read it, I realized that this is the perfect book for my husband. I feel like he would have related to Darrow a lot, and that's what happened, right? Yeah. And then I passed it off to him, and he hadn't read books in a very long time, so this is a big deal.
It had been about probably almost 8 years since
not that long, but dramatic.
But she showed me the Nerd Off, and I just thought Pierce Brown was awesome because I am a die-hard Lord of the Rings fan. I've read every single book several times. I love the movies, everything. So I don't think left me alone for 48 hours saying, you need to read this book, you need to read this book, you need to read this book. You'll love the main character.
I did.
And I got through, almost 200 pages in the first day.
Yeah,
I read it.
Unheard of. He doesn't read super fast. So
I read at a very mellow pace, and I finished the book really quickly, and I loved it. I related way too much to Darrow, probably more than I should have. But I absolutely loved the book. The first 50 pages were kind of slow for me, but honestly, when I started really kind of dwelling in and diving into Darrow's character, I automatically related.
I don't think it was slow for you. Yeah, I think you picked it up right away. I think it's different for different people,
So, I mean, I probably wasted maybe 2 days, 3 days till I read the second book.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love this series, and there's a lot of really good kind of correlations between Lord of the Rings and this, which is, I think, a lot of people.
Yeah, he has a lot of Easter eggs in there. What about you? How did you find Red Rising?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't like sci-fi. So anything kind of spacey and spaceshipy to me just kind of goes straight over my head because I don't understand it. I can't imagine it.
That's the term.
I'm gonna use that term.
So strange. But and so I think I genuinely don't know. I was just kind of walking in the bookshop and I was like, oh yeah, cool, I guess so. I think someone pitched it to me as similar to the Hunger Games. And so at that point I was still crazy Hunger Games fan. So I was like, yeah, all right, I'll pick it up. And then, I mean, I was completely different. The first 50 pages to me, I was like, this is great. I thought I understood the world. I thought I knew what was going on. I'm like, hey, this kid needs to win the laurel, blah, blah, blah. It's a very blah. And then so when a certain event happens and it cracks the world right open, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And it took me Yeah, I was just like, this world is huge. And then I think I like it more because it's not so spacey. Like, yeah, it's set on Mars, and obviously you get more into it kind of book 2, book 3, book 4. But this one for itself is definitely more, like Hunger Games. Like, it's just set in the world with some sci-fi elements. There's no kind of on my kilometer-long warship, which I'm still confused about. Yeah, so I powered through book 1, powered through book 2. Golden Sun is my favorite book of all of the books. I love it so much. But then I had just read Golden Sun when it had come out, so I had to wait the year for Morning Star, and you know how Golden Sun ends, and I was a wreck. I just remember ending the book and just being like, no.
Oh, yeah, we're all there. We're all there.
Yeah, and then just having no idea what to do with myself for like the whole. I probably wasn't a year. It was probably like 6 months, or it was close enough that I don't remember waiting like drawing with bated breath. But yeah, I enjoyed. When I first read it, like I said, I've read it like maybe 6 or 7 times now. And every time I read it, I find something new that I like about it or that I don't like about it. And so the first time I read it, I was like, this is great. Like, I've got no qualms with it. Everything's amazing. I love it. It's the best. I didn't like Mustang at all. I was like, I don't know what she offers. Like, there's no romance. And I think at that point I was, 18, and I was like, oh, romance. Hey, Liz is back. She's joined us.
Hi, are we live? Oh, this is awkward.
So I'm finishing talking up about my experience with Red Rising, and then we'll move on to yours. But yeah, and then kind of as I've gone through, also this will contain a non-spoiler section and then a spoilery section, so we will get into the spoilers. But yeah, and then every time I kind of go through it, I like it a lot more. And this time as I read it, I found things that I went and read some bad reviews. I read some reviews that people are like, oh, Darrow, is a Mary Sue, or the treatment of women is terrible and all that sort of stuff, which we'll get into later. But I'm now noticing that, whereas like the first 2 or 3 times I was like, this book is the best. It can do no wrong. Like Pierce Brown is God. And, especially when he was like, what, 23 or 24 when he wrote it. I was like, this man is genius. And yeah, like now looking back a few years later, I was like, interesting. So, and again, like we can unpack that as we go. But yeah, that's kind of my experience with it. Yeah. So Liz, what's your experience? Your first experience with Red Rising when you picked it up for the first time?
So when I first picked it up, I wasn't sure what to expect, especially like that first part, because when you're reading it, you think it's going to go one way. Like up until probably when we first discover like the big lie, like when Darrow walks in after Dancer and then he sees the reality of what he's living in. I think before then, I thought it was going to be like very cliche YA kind of like, okay, this is going to go one way. The revolution is going to happen in like 3 weeks. They're going to get everything done. And then the moment where it's just like, oh no, like Pierce is going to go for like the long haul. I got really excited because a lot of the times you see the revolutions in books and in stories happen super fast. And in reality, it's like slow, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, every time I go back, I was telling you earlier, I just noticed how tragic of a character Darrow is. Like from what we know in Red Rising, as opposed to what we go to Iron Gold, like where we leave off at the very end, and we realize how tragic of a character he is. But I do agree on you. Like I've read my fair share of bad reviews that do make you think, that do make you question. Like we do have to remember, like this is his first book. He was 22 when he wrote it, whatever. So there are definitely some tropey things that go on. Like I always tell people, I was like, I promise you, it's not like the man pain. Like it's not the focus of the story. Like I promise you, like I had to like really coach my friend. Like I promise, it's not about his man pain because he lost Dio. Like that is a huge motivation, but it's not the his, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's his reason, but it's not like what the book is about, And so I do have to tell people like, okay, it's a little slow at the beginning and it does feel a little bit like very cliche and very like stereotypical, but I was like, no, I promise it changes a little bit. But you do see some of those Mary Sue moments with Darrow. If we, be objective about it a little bit, because you're just like, okay, he is really good at things, but then you see that he's also really, really bad at a lot of things. And I think that balances out for me. Like I would never say he's a Mary Sue because I'm like, boy has messed up more times than I cared, than anybody else. So like every time I read it, I always find something new that I love. But when I first read it, it was very like something new, something that I hadn't read especially like in fantasy and sci-fi. So it was, I really enjoyed it. I read the first part, like the first one, probably like in 2 days. I was just like sitting there and I devoured it on my phone. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think that's one of the best things about Pierce Brown in these books is that he makes it and layers it so perfectly well that you can really follow the story. Like, yeah, at the beginning there was kind of some cliches that started out, but then it evolved into something so much better, and you couldn't help but get hooked by it.
I do think he was self-aware, and that's helpful, but we can get into that.
And man pain is a real thing, okay? So don't just man pain, okay?
No, I agree completely, and I have the same sort of troubles when I'm recommending it to people as well. They're like, oh, the big event happened, and that's kind of what spurred him into, that man pain journey. But then I'm like, okay, but listen, read it, and that's the shitty thing.
Everybody needs a catalyst.
The shitty thing about it is like, especially with like the treatment of women, which I guess kind of I didn't notice at first, but then as I've kind of kept going, I have now noticed. But it definitely changes. Like this is from Darrow's point of view, and at that point he's so small-minded and closed-minded in terms of this was his world in this perfect little nook where women had their roles and blah blah blah. And now it's so expanded, and so you see it develop over Golden Sun to Morningstar to Iron Gold. It's so much more different than dead wife trope, and then by the end of it it's kind of women are like Mustangs in power and all these other sorts of things. So I think that's the thing. I'm me trying to be like, no, but wait till you get to book 2. Like it makes it better. Like just keep going. Just keep going. And they're like, I'm book 2 going.
Except for the way book 2 ends, because it pretty much everybody I think throws their book in end of book 2. So.
Every time I read, I'm just about to listen to it as well because I'm listening to it this time on Audible. And I'm
gonna cry.
Oh, I cry. I've cried so many times already.
Okay. How amazing the audiobooks are, though. Yes. I think they just get you into the world so well.
Spot on.
I think they're the first audiobooks I've ever actually listened to. Like, I don't like audiobooks because I'm like, I can read fast and someone can talk to me. If the narrator sucks, I'm not interested.
You do read ridiculously quickly. It's actually scary.
But because I got Jacob onto Red Rising, and then he doesn't read. He only likes to listen to audiobooks. So I got him listening to it, and I must have got in the car one day, and I'm like, oh, what's this? And he's like, it's Red Rising. And I think it was around the time that we heard Ragnar's voice in book 2 that I was like, this is everything I've ever needed.
Spoilers. We're getting too excited.
I was just about to say, now we will be talking spoilers, mostly for book 1, probably with links to book 2, 3, and 4, because, at this point you can't stop.
I will try not to spoil
We will now be going into spoilers. I'm going to try and go chronologically through the whole book, but I mean, realistically, look at us.
We're going to We're just gonna.
Oh my god! I missed that. Oh, did you remember that part? And, oh my god, she's the cook. It's just, okay.
Oh, we can talk about PAX though. It's too soon. Too soon for PAX.
Too soon for PAX. Yeah, it's all. No, I'm just about to. Okay, so let's start with obviously the first couple chapters of the book. The first, I'm gonna call the first chunk of the book is Darrow's a red in the mines. He thinks he's gonna win the laurel. That's when I started noticing him. He's a bit of a self-entitled douche, but I love it. Like that's the thing. I will say all these horrible things, but I am so okay with it because I love him. I'm like, he's he's entitled. He's better than everyone. I don't care.
But I always forget he's 16.
But that's the other thing. He's a young man.
Come on, every guy at 16 is a little douchey. Let's be real. Every guy at 16 is a little douchey.
My favorite line in those first few episodes was like, I don't know, they say, your finger has to flicker. He's like, mine flicker faster. And I was like, Darrow, you son of a bitch. Really? Like, who are you? But I love him, and I love I like the way it's written. Like, a lot of people are saying they don't like the clunky style in which Pierce has written it, and I personally really love it because I like and especially when Tim Gerard Reynolds reads it as well, I think it really definitely adds to it. That sort of short, the short kind of
sentences.
And
I kind of appreciate. Okay, my personality, I love getting to the point and then adding context. And I feel like that is definitely how the writing style is. So it feeds into the way I like to communicate. So I personally really enjoyed it because I communicate essential. That way. Yeah. He enjoyed it that way.
I did even like, sorry. A lot of things I hear people complain about is the language, as in, you know, we have words like, you know, sling blade, you know, bloody damn. And a lot of people have a hard time getting into the story. What do you guys feel about these words that make up the world?
I mean, I personally love them. Yeah. I didn't really struggle with them. I mean, I don't like when I say I don't like gory. I don't like gory damn. I think that's too fancy for me. Yeah. But, like, I'm going through a phase where I say bloody damn. Like, I would say bloody damn all the time. And I'm doing it again now. I'm reading it back. I'll say bloody damn all the time.
I say it at work. I'm not gonna lie, because everyone looks at me like, oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah, he calls people pixies. I mean, I honestly,
that's a favorite one of mine.
I personally like when books have that language because I think it really helps you get into that world. I think if there's the right context, you're fully immersed when you use their lingo. It's not going to be the same lingo in 300 years. So I appreciate that.
I feel like when you read fantasy and sci-fi, you have to kind of accept that, because it's like that's the way that you world build. Like, it's a huge way of world building. So people are like, I don't like that. I'm like, I don't think you get it.
Well, that being said, like, there are some books that I have read that I hate it. Like, J. Christoph, I love you, but
I knew you were going to say that.
It's like they're trying so hard to be like, this is a different world. This is a different world. And I'm like, I fucking get it. Like, no one, and they're words that nobody's going to use. Like, I'm not going to start calling women skirts, and I'm not going to start saying holy cakes. Like, and for me, it's when it's really young slang as well. Like, when they're avoiding swear words with, like, not titties, well, doesn't make sense at all. The really bad sort of, like, this one I didn't, it wasn't clunky, so I didn't notice it. But then you see ones that really, for me, they really take me out of it. And I'm like, and I try saying it out loud, and if it sounds weird coming out loud of my mouth, even with my accent, I'll try it in an Australian accent, I'll try it in an American accent, I'll try it in an English accent, and if it sucks in all,
I literally go, oh my gold, instead of saying oh my god, I'm like, oh my gold, and people are like, what? And I'm like, okay, it's oh my god. Like, I use that kind of like terminology. Even my autocorrect automatically corrects it. Like, when I go oh my god, it just goes oh my gold. So stuff like that. Yeah, that was something that I really, really liked, that the word, it felt like natural. Like, he kind of just combined like swear words and kind of just threw them at us. Bloody damn, I love that. I love that it's too like bloody and damn. Let's go.
And they're very Australian ones as well. So it's super easy. Like, I can get away with saying it in like casual conversation, and people are like, oh, it's an Australian slang thing. And I'm like, sorry.
No.
But even there, like, I mean, there are some that I was like, I don't know what that means, and I had to kind of figure out what each part of it meant. I was like, I don't know what that means, but now I
remember not knowing what something meant, and I Googled it. I made the mistake of Googling it, and I pulled up a wiki page, and I saw a spoiler, and I was so angry. So that was like that was when I learned that lesson. Like, never Google anything in a book that's already been released. Man.
I got a very angry text like, I totally messed up. I cannot believe I did that.
I was really upset.
I was really lucky.
Huh?
I said I was really lucky. I didn't get spoiled for anything.
I love spoilers. Well, I was good because I was the first one of my, like, the people I knew to read it, so I was the one who had all the spoilers. And so when Jacob was reading it, if he would like annoy me, I'll be like, I will spoil Red Rising for you. He's like, if you don't do the dishes, I will tell you who dies.
She did that too. She'd like, oh, hey, you got to get to this point in the book so we can talk about it.
Yeah,
please,
I know.
Please.
Well, but at the same time, he's like, this happened, right? Oh, I see your face. That definitely happened. I'm like,
oh my God, I get that as well. I'd be like Jacob will be reading something, and I'll just be sitting there like this, and he'd be like, don't, you're giving something away. I was like, what? He's like, no, you're giving it away with your face. I was like, what? I just want to know.
The whole thing with Pax, I was reading it right next to her, and I said, oh, I don't like the way this is going. And she's sitting there, and she just looks away.
I was like,
and I'm like, no.
Just get up and leave the room.
Yeah.
Amazing. I had, what was it? Like, when Jacob was reading it for the first time, he's like, is this person Aries? Is this person Aries? Is this person Aries? I was like, I'm not telling you, because you... Like, I mean, I could tell, like, do you want to know? And he's like, no, don't tell me. Is this person Aries? I was like,
That's literally. I'm like, do you really want to know? I can tell you, but do you really want to know?
I was guilty of that big time because I started guessing who it was after you first met him, and I'd literally say, "Oh, it's this person. No, it's this person. No, I swear to God, it's this person."
Yeah, you don't want me to actually tell you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Don't want me to tell me. I mean, I went searching for spoilers with Iron Gold because I know a few people started getting it for like a week before I got it, and I was like, does this character die? If this character dies, I just want to know. Like, I'll still read it. It'll still surprise me, but I need to prepare I hate surprises.
I feel that
myself going in with like, a box of tissues and like, I don't know.
Man, she has her box of tissues.
I know.
That was like right there.
Like really quick.
Right. I've been crying for like a week. Okay. Also, I'm allergic to like all of my animals, but that's a different story. But yeah, okay. So Io dies. That didn't surprise me so much as the dancer being like, surprise! Like Io died. I was like, yeah, cool, whatever. She'll,
cool. I never really liked her.
I didn't like Io. Yeah, we didn't get to know her enough before.
Yeah, for me to care.
Yeah.
I was like, I care about you because Darrow cares about you, but.
Well, even then, throughout the book when he's like, Io would have wanted this. I was like, I don't give two shits what Io wants. She's dead. She's a dead girl. We need to move on.
There wasn't enough setup for her, for us to care about her. That's literally what happened. Yeah, you cared about her because Darrow cared about her. Yeah,
and that's all that matters.
Yeah. But then as like,
she's like,
there's that the thing that his mum says, I think in Morningstar, that Darrow's mum says about Io. I was like, girlfriend's got a point. She's got a point. Like, she'll always make her battles. And I get that now. Like I see it. I fully see it. And then even when I'll get to that later. It's a spoiler. I just really care about, and in terms of the comments, we are going to get to the comment section, guys. We will be answering all your questions. We're just going to power through this first so we can kind of do it all.
I can't see questions, so you're gonna have to read them out loud.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. I can get to that. But so Io died. Darrow dies and then is resurrected, and Dancer then opens up.
Literally, Jesus.
Yeah, Dancer is then like, so surprise, if you've been lied to, and that's the point that I was like, oh my fucking god, like. What am I in for? What is going to happen? And that's one thing I love about Pierce Brown's writing is, and especially book 1, I couldn't predict almost anything that was happening.
Same. No way. So that was great.
Yeah. And I really appreciate
the Games moment. So I kind of predicted it was a lie just because they did advertise it as a Hunger Games book. And was
the synopsis too.
Yeah, it was a synopsis. Yeah.
But I think it was a good point to transition from that first part to what it became. Because, I mean, it really went from, you kind of think it's going to be a cheesy storyline with Io and all that. And then all of a sudden it just is like.
She's dead. She's dead. Surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, oh, what's going on? Everyone's dead. Who's the main character now?
Yeah.
And I think that was just around the time that the Divergent series was like wrapping up, so that was a whole thing as well. And I was like, oh, are they really just going to kill the lead characters? And now what? Like, what's going on?
Oh, that's very true. That's so true. Yeah.
Version of Game of Thrones. They're just going to kill everybody you like.
Yeah. I thought by the end of Morningstar, all my favorites were safe. I was like, cool, that's the end. Like, they're done. They're going to be safe and happy forever. And then he's like, so I'm also going to write another series. 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, yes, no. I was like, please don't.
Like my pain just gets more and more as the series goes on. Like I'm just in more pain as the series goes on.
Yeah, he's ruined them, and we need to take them away from him and protect them and be like, no, Pierce, you're done.
Don't let him George R. Martin this. Don't let him do it.
Oh my God, no.
He's gonna go all Golden Sun on Dark Ages. I mean, the name is really, anyway. I know we're going way far out, but I'm so nervous.
Pace yourself. Pace yourself.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm towards the end of the video, I'm into some Dark Age theories, because I've got ones that I also want to be like, guys, what do you think?
Perfect. You can talk to her about it because I don't want to hear it. I don't want spoilers. I don't want theories.
Not a spoiler.
I don't want theories. I don't want it.
I mean, usually I don't go looking for theories, but there are some that are so prevalent that I'm like, interesting. So we've been exposed, and now Darrow is being carved by Mickey. I love Mickey. I think Mickey's great. I love Mickey.
I love what he represents. Yeah.
Yeah. I love how weird he is. I love that he's weird and that
he's
he
the
loves
most unique
Darrow.
character there is too.
Yeah.
Out of the whole story, he's the only one who's just like him. There's no one else like him.
Yeah. I don't even think we meet another Violet. Like, really.
That's true. I mean, we hear about them, but we don't like, you know.
We don't, and like
talk to them.
Zanzibar, like we hear about him, but we don't actually ever meet him.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
I like, you know, especially when Darrow threatens him with Evie and he's like, Mickey is afraid of me. He's afraid of what he's made. I really liked that. I liked that sort of, I don't know. I mean, that's the thing that I love
Very
about
Frankenstein-ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like Frankenstein like style there, where he turns on his mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
But even then, like I love Darrow so much. I can't even explain to you how much I love him. But I know I should not like him. Like now I can't even speak properly. I'm getting flustered. But I find like characters like that and tropes like that, if they're done poorly, I will hate them and I won't finish a book.
Yeah.
But when they're done well, I'm like, this is the best thing. I don't care that he's a snowflake. I don't care that he's good at absolutely everything he tries. I don't care that he's smarter than everyone, even though he's only just been exposed to the world. I was like, I love
how self-aware he is.
Yeah.
I love how self-aware he is, and like how he's like, I have to be a shitty person to be a good person, and I'm gonna be the shittiest person you know in the best way I can. And I love him for it. I think that the way Pierce writes him, literally, if we weren't inside his mind, he would be a sociopath. Like he would be a horrible person. And so the fact that we can be in his mind and see what he does and sympathize with him and love him and cheer for him and root for him, that just goes to show you what an amazing character he is. Like, I would
make me wonder, do you think, like, is the theory that Pierce has projected his own wannabe personality into Darrow? Like, is this, like, I haven't met him, you guys have met him, does he give off Darrow vibes in IRL?
He says that Darrow is him. Like, a lot of Darrow is him.
He's very charismatic. He is very charismatic, yeah.
Yeah, he's very charismatic.
I don't know if he's broody as he thinks he is. Like,
I think the angst isn't quite there.
Yeah, but that might be the part of him that he wants more.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, you know, you put pieces of yourself in a character, but then you embellish. I mean,
I can definitely see he's definitely a big piece of Darrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think the charismatic part, definitely.
Yeah. I'm interested. Like, if he ever makes it to Australia, or if I ever meet him, I'm interested. Like, I know the whole time I'm just gonna be analyzing. I'm like, yes, Darrow did that. Now I see.
You can have notes of Darrow and be like, okay, Chuck, where's this?
Oh, yep, he's definitely doing that. Rubs dirt between his fingers before he fights. Yep. Getting into it. Part of me wants, like, if I ever meet him, part of me wants to just be like, I know I will just fangirl and be like, oh my god, I love it. But most of me wants to be like really cool, calm, and collected and be like, yeah, I liked your books, like whatever, they were fine, they changed my life, whatever. But
that's amazing people, but whatever.
As I say, I'm like covered in red roses and tattoos. I'm like, it was all right. I didn't hate it.
You guys with all of your ridiculously foreign copies in the back. Look at them. Look at all the copies that they have. I'm like watching it. I'm like, what?
Over 50 copies. Mike collects them.
Yeah, I collect them.
Oh my god.
You've got other languages, hey?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, when I first met him, he caught me off guard. Okay, because I wasn't looking in the direction, and all of a sudden he appears on my right, and I just kind of like
he like swooped on him.
I thought I would be cool and like act like a total man's man around him, and I totally just girled out.
The second he like surprised me, he was like, I was like, it was great for me, but like, poor guy.
Yeah, and then he says hi to me, and I'm just like.
When I get excited and like really like if I'm trying to be cool and impress someone, my voice drops like 8 octaves. So I'm like, hey, yeah, I really liked your book. Nice to meet you. Or I get really ochre. Like I definitely don't say g'day and mate on a daily basis, but I'm like, g'day mate, yeah, chuck a shrimp on the bar.
I've been fortunate enough to meet him a few times, and I'm always surprised that he remembers me.
Yeah.
He's like, very good, you know, like he's very good about like making you feel comfortable. And so like I met him the first time in 2016 for the Morning Star signing. And since then I hadn't really seen him, and then we saw him for the Iron Gold event. Oh, no, I saw him for one of Natasha's videos. And I just stood there because I was just helping out, you know, I was like, I'm the helper. I was just in the background, yeah. And he was like, he's like, oh, he remembered my name. So I was, but yeah, my heart was beating so fast. I swear you could see my vein just go like pumping hard. I was just like, I was trying not to panic. I was like cool, collected. I was like, don't be the weirdo. Don't ask for anything. I was like, just hold the camera.
Yeah,
just hold the camera.
I've told you, Liz, I've already told you my like bitter Pierce Brown stories, but I haven't told you guys. And this is me being a dick. Like, it's definitely not a serious thing. But no, just you wait, sir. Just you wait. It all started last year on Twitter. No, it wasn't that bad. But fuck, what was it? So he followed me on Twitter, and I was like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever. But then I was also like, oh my god, I need to watch what I tweet because I tweet a lot of shit. And then I think the first interaction we had was I tweeted, I need to come up with a better way of telling people that I find them attractive than saying I'd sit on their face. And he liked that. And I was just like, I'm sorry.
That's a great first interaction.
That was our first interaction, and I was like, okay. And then my friend did an interview with him when he was in London, and I sent him like a couple questions. And so he was like answering the questions and like directing them at me. And I was like, you motherfucker, like just answer my question. What's Severo's daughter's name? Like, that's all I want to know. Like, why is it? Just tell me. Tell me. And I've completely forgotten where I was going with the story. Not important. Anyway, Red Rising. I've completely forgotten.
Let's go back to Darrow for a moment. Someone commented this really fun fact. It was like, I feel like if Darrow was not the main character, he would be a lot like Tactus. Yeah. I think that's like a really interesting fact.
Yeah. I mean, mine is for like the frivolity of like rape and that sort of stuff. But yeah, if you're not reading from Darrow's point of view, he's a crazy person. Like you see that man coming towards you and you're like, no, just you go, man, you go. 100%. Well,
like you said, the sociopath. If you don't know what's going on inside his head, he's a sociopath.
He's insane.
Yeah, 100%.
That was a great point. Good job, guys.
That is true. Yeah.
What did you love at the Institute? Severo is my be-all and end-all. Severo is me at my core, without, personal hygiene and all that sort of stuff. Yeah. Severo is me. Severo is me as a person. Definitely. Very scrappy, very dirty, very gross.
I think the only thing I had an issue with was like when they go through passage, literally all I thought when he went, why don't you just knock him out and take his ring and go? Like, I literally was like, don't kill him, just knock him. I get like later that he probably would have been punished for not killing. I don't know. But all I thought was just knock him out. Like, why couldn't you just do that? You didn't have to kill him.
I mean,
yeah,
he didn't do it fast enough in my opinion. Like, he thought that too much.
Yeah.
I was like, bro, just do it. I was just like, just do it. Stop the angst.
Killed though, right?
What happened?
Julian was the first person he's ever killed, right?
Yes, he was the very first person.
Yeah. And it was with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah,
so maybe I'm a little bit harsh. You're saying he didn't do it fast enough.
Yeah, you're a straight up monster.
Yeah. But in my head, I was just like, you have a purpose? I was like, you don't have time for the angst, sir. We need to get this ball rolling. Please. I was like, don't think about it. Just go.
Like, I liked Julian, but the second he was like, I am Julian Albalone of House Balone, I was like, well, fucking obviously. Duh. Then I was like, mate, get him in the throat, go for the eyeballs, take his teeth. I don't care.
Like, I'm something I do want to see. I would pay Pierce to see the passage in all of the Howlers' perspectives.
Yeah.
I want to see Severo stomping the shit out of what's-his-face's throat.
Neck.
I want to see, I want to see Rogue. I want to see... Yes, I want to see Pebble. I want to see all of the Howlers.
Pardon?
I would love to see that.
That'd be a really cool story.
Oh, yeah. Pebble and everybody.
Like short stories?
Like,
really cool. Amazing. It would be so interesting to see, especially for Rogue, where we know he goes. Like, I feel like that would give us an insight on how his mind works. And I would love to
especially like killing another gold when he's so high and mighty about golds. So that's interesting.
Love to see that.
Speaking of short stories, I want short stories on Aj's background, and I want a whole story of Lorne our Arcos. I want backgrounds and backgrounds and backgrounds on Lorne.
I'm sorry, but when I think of Lorne, I just think of Clint Eastwood.
Clint Eastwood?
Clint Eastwood is all. When I think of Lorne our Arcos.
I think oh my god, Colin Firth after watching Kingsman.
Really? Oh my god, we have very different opinions.
a very older, man that you don't think can kick ass, and then also can kick your ass. So maybe because I love Kingsman, that's just me. But Colin Firth,
there's an actor that I'm thinking of, and I can't. I'm gonna look for his name, and I'm gonna send it to you guys privately.
Okay.
I cannot remember what his name is, but I only found out, like, I'm reading Golden Sun at the moment. Lorne is over 100. I didn't remember that.
Yeah.
He's old. He's old, man.
He's old.
He's old.
I
mean, the Sovereign was like 100 something too, so.
That's true. Tactus, as you know, is one of my favorite characters of all time. It is only in this book, this reread, that I realize what a douchebag he is. I definitely
think douchebag covers it. What he is.
He's a monster. I didn't realize. Like, I think I must have just pushed it from my mind that he tried to, like, rape Nyla, and that he, did all these horror, like, killed Tamara essentially. I think I just forgot, and I was just like, I love him. My son. Protect him.
I think we overlooked a lot of the shitty things that he did.
I think I read it so quickly that I got straight onto Golden Sun, and when Tactus's stuff happens in Golden Sun, I was like, I love him so much. I love him. I would die for him. He was misunderstood. He deserves so much more. And then I just spiraled. I spiraled.
Yeah,
you might have gone down that rabbit hole.
Situation, you just forget. You just put it in the back of your mind.
But see, I've recommended that to this book to a lot of people, and they said Tactus, they love him and all that. I'm like, he's like a drug to people, because you either love him or hate him, and if you love him, it's just you love him, and even though he's the shittiest person in the world.
And it makes you wonder what that says about yourself. That's the kind of character you love.
That's true. I liked him. I loved him as a character. I loved what he represented to Darrow. Like, he was everything that supposedly Darrow had been taught about golds.
Yeah.
Like, he was essentially the image of what Darrow thought golds were, and then the fact that he befriended him, like, that also gave you an idea of, like, where exactly, like, Darrow was heading, I think, in a way, what he was willing to do to get the job done. And I love that. I love that Tactus is kind of like his, like, way in, especially towards, like, the end, where he's like, let's fucking get shit done.
Well,
and
he's
when they storm Olympus, like, I feel like that whole.
I love him. I love that he's always giving Darrow shit as well. I mean, more so in Golden Sun, where he's like, I bet he'll only last 10 days, and he's like, I'm kidding, and I was like, I love you. I love people who.
I totally love the sassy characters. Like, sassy characters, like, feed my soul.
Well, because you're sassy.
Yeah.
And then there's an art that Phantom Rin did of Tactus in her, like, Red Rising tarot deck, and that's exactly how I imagine him, with his, like, little curly hair, and I love him. I love him.
Fan you off.
I think about it all the time. I mean, I named my bird Tactus, and he is an asshole, so I definitely nailed that and got that right. Definitely did that right. So Pax.
God.
It's okay. Okay.
So Pax, who I didn't love until he died.
A lovable idiot.
Oh, yeah. I didn't love him until, I think, when he got his. Well, what did I love most about him? I think his girlish laugh.
Yeah.
Finding out he laughed like a girl.
I loved him because he was the Ragnar before Ragnar.
I secretly think Pax, Pierce put a lot of himself into Pax. Mine is like the big bulky guy. That's who I really think he is. He just goes around screaming his name,
Does he? I love it. I think for, like, every now and again when I'm getting, like, real hyped up, I will just shout Pax's name. And no one will understand what I'm talking about. And I'm like, Pax! Oh, tell me about it. Like, Piera, what are you doing? And I'm like, Pax! It's like a hype song.
Got it.
It's a hype song. I just put it on repeat. I loved him. I loved that. One of my favorite scenes is when they do, like, fight, and he's so confident that he's gonna win.
And
then you're just like, I love it. I love the confidence he has in himself. I love that he's like, nobody's gonna give me a fucking nickname. You're calling me by my damn name. Like, I love that about him. I love that he's like, nope, we're not doing none of this Reaper, Jackal shit. I was like, you're calling me Pax because that's the name my mama gave me, and that's what we're gonna go with. That was one of my favorite parts, the running joke.
Yeah, I made a bunch of fan art movie posters, and they're all of, like, their faces and a quote from Red Rising. I've only done Red Rising, and Pax's is my favorite. There's no face; it's literally his abs and his name. And I was like,
I think one of the things I love about Pax, though, is, at least from my perspective, is Pax is the best friend you always want. That's going to have your back no matter what. That's going to be there for you, and he's going to back you whether you're right or wrong. He'll be there to back
Mustang. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I love how much he loved Mustang, and then like as soon as like when Mustang and Darrow kind of rescued him from being a slave, and he kind of looked to Mustang, and she was like, he's cool, and then he just embraces Darrow, who you know he pummeled 3 weeks earlier, and he's like, freedom, friends, and I love him. But I find it so hard to visualize how big golds are. Like I don't know.
It's hard to remember that they're like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, like Pax is over 2 meters
like
tall.
7 feet.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And like I mean,
it's hard to remember.
And when he's like, you know, Severo was taller. Yeah. And like, you know, Severo is supposed to be small for a gold, but he's still almost 2 meters tall. He's still significantly. I'm 5'6", I think. I'm 5'6" in your American terms.
Well, I'm 6'7", and that's basically how big Darrow was, and he was on the small.
Yeah.
So
he was like not like overly large. That's true.
Yeah.
Just
he was a medium.
Which is what I'm interested about. Like, if when they make the TV series, like, are they going to just cast normal sized people?
No.
Like, what are they? Are they going to just cast pure Olympians? Like, only
they might do what they did for like the Lord of the Rings, where like they
shrink.
Yeah, like try to get them to look bigger by making everything else smaller.
The reds will be like they'll make them smaller, like the Hobbit.
Yeah.
More than they would make the golds bigger, because the gold it's centralized around the gold, so they'll be the standard size.
Yeah.
So
my goal in life now is to just get beefy as fuck and play Victra. That's all. That's all my goal is now.
I
don't even want to be anybody special. Like I want to be Pebble because she survived so far. Just make me Pebble. It's fine. We're good. Like you don't have to give me anything big.
I didn't know love until I met Victra. I did not know there was a love out there truly until I met Victra. And I was like, I would die for you. I would lay down in mud and let you walk over me. Please choke me to death. Like I love Victra.
It's not like you like her or anything. I don't see you liking her at all. Like
I don't believe it. You have to really convey to me how.
You have to convince me. Like you're not selling it enough.
I could probably quote almost every line Victra says in the entire series because I love her so much.
Speaking of the entire series, are we ever going to talk about the Jackal?
We're getting there. Hold your horses.
I'm ready to scream.
I thought I was going to segue into, I think Adrius is one of the best villains ever written, ever.
I love him.
He's fucking crazy.
He is the Joker.
Adrius
is the Joker. He's the essential villain that everybody needs.
He's just straight up crazy. The second he cut his own damn hand off, I was like, I am terrified of you.
I was like, the concept of all of the teeth flashing in her hair. I love that visual. I was like, I need some teeth in my hair. I was like,
why don't I have teeth in my hair?
I loved Adrian because he was always 5 steps ahead of everybody.
He was
just he was to me of what a perfect crazy man should be.
Villain,
He was great. I loved him. I just love that he's like this small, like man, and that nobody takes him seriously. Yeah,
you can fit him right in your pocket.
So smart. I love him. I love him.
The weird thing is, for some reason, like he's such a great antagonist, but for some reason, and I can't figure out why, like obviously all he wanted was like his father's approval, and I get that, but I couldn't marry the two of like who he was as a character needing the approval. Like, I thought he would be above the approval. Like I don't need it because I know I'm better than you or something. And then so every time it comes back to him, you know, I'm like I said, I'm in book 2 or something where he's like, what do you want? Your father's approval. Like for some reason that I can't marry that in my head. Sort of
I feel like that's such an excuse for him to humanize him. Like I feel like he uses that as an excuse.
I don't see that. I feel like at the end of the day, you could be the smartest person and have all these big plans, but like at the end of the day, you have this small familial need. And I always liked that because that's something that you wouldn't think this crazy villain, you know, this who's so smart would want. But like that is so human. That is so human. That is absolutely something that would be motivating. And I felt like that was just like a brilliant tie-in. But I can totally see why it would be disarming a little bit.
I do think though, even though if for some odd reason his father gave his approval, it wouldn't have mattered to him. He's gone so far past.
It would have been enough, I think, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I think he would have exploded into more evil and
Yeah, I don't think he would have realized he had it. And I think he's wanted it for so long, it would, you know, if he got it, it wouldn't have mattered. Yeah.
It's been distorted now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like this unachievable goal that like lost its meaning along the way. Like, you know, like it was just 100%. Useless at one point. And as we learned in Golden Sun.
and so for Mustang to literally gag and tie him nude and present him to Darrow, that has to be like him. Can you imagine how crazy he would have been going in that moment? I would have loved to have
her for that.
I would have loved to.
That was the moment I was on her team. Like I liked her, but that was a moment where I was really like, I like her.
See, I didn't like her. The first few times I read it, I could not get on board. Like I wanted the romance, but I was like, whatever. Like
I'm not a Mustang fan. I'm really not. She's not my thing. I like it for the romance aspect, but I don't like her as a character. I did like that theme though. I was like, damn, yeah, that's your sibling. Shit, like
that guy. Yeah. I definitely appreciate Mustang the more times I read the book, and I find that really interesting because usually when I read a book, I feel like I can relate to like the lead female character or some female character in there that I was like, I really see myself in that.
Victra.
Yeah, which is why when I met Victra, I was like, I've needed you for years. But in book one, it's Severo. And I'm like, when you think about it, I'm like, Severo is this dirty, grotty little, if you saw him in real life, you'd be like, get away from me, you smell. But like in that, I was like, this is me. This is me as a hatchet-faced, one-eyed, I'm missing teeth, I'm dirty. That's me. And so,
like, bring that up. Do you know that they when the book was optioned by Universal wanted to make Severo a woman and wanted to make that a love triangle to differentiate from Red Queen.
Can you imagine?
It would have been terrible, but it like feeds into your need a little bit.
Could you imagine?
No.
But yeah, as I've kind of gone rereading it, I definitely appreciate Mustang more because she's not like because she's so smart. And usually when you read YA protagonist females at this point, they're mostly around that time they were all like brawn and battles and fighting and badass and knife wielding, where she definitely shows that she's the brain to it. And that's why she can do both, but she was more the brain, and I really appreciated it in the books.
Yeah. She's so smart. Like
girl on me.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
She's one of the characters where I was like, okay. And as the time went on, I did appreciate her a lot more.
Yeah. I mean, she wouldn't be like my top 5 favorite character, but I appreciate her and what she offers to Darrow as well.
I mean, there are a few characters that every time I reread the story now, I'm like, fuck you. I know what you do. Roke, I'm talking to you.
Roke, I remember, because we're only talking about book 1 Roke right now. I loved their like boy band. Him, Cassius, and Darrow's little boy band. I loved them. They were so cute when they were like when Cassius and Darrow stole June the cook. I remember crying with laughter. I thought that was so funny because I could just visualize it. I could just see it.
Yeah, you have to remember they are 16. I was like, this is exactly what they would do. This is exactly what boys are. Like that is what made you like really love. Those kinds of scenes are like the best.
There was the comedy and the humor in, this dire situation. Yeah. There were still times where I was like pissing myself with laughter. Like, what do you think I'm doing? Wanking off in the bushes. Well,
I love that scene.
That's exactly what we think you were doing.
I love it. Yeah, we do. It's so hard to forget sometimes. It's so easy to forget, that they're 16 in the beginning. Because, goals are supposed to be these beautiful, grown-ass looking,
Everyone's technically 30.
Yeah. I loved it. I mean, even just their little like pissing contest when they were trying to figure out who's going to be the next, why can't I? That was also great. I love that they were just like, well, I'm better at this, but I'm better at this, and then when they run towards the table that very first day, and almost get ambushed, and end game right there. Like if that would have gone badly, like. Yeah, I just love it. They're like, we're just gonna run and then hope for the best at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay, so that's kind of the Institute. Am I missing anything like dire in the Institute that we want to talk about?
We're talking about Cassius and Cassius and Darrow.
Oh, Cassius.
Yeah.
Their bromance.
I loved them. They could have had it all. Could you imagine?
They could have been great together. We could have had it all.
And they were fighting back to back. I was like, this is a wet dream. Oh. I love them.
One of my I think one of the moments
I definitely rooted for that.
Yeah, it hurt so bad when we found out like the betrayal moment where Cassius was like, "You killed my brother," and it was like, bro, everybody had to kill
That's
somebody.
the thing. I was like, you killed someone else's brother. Like, let's just...
Right?
Annoyed.
Huh?
I got so annoyed that he was so beat up about his brother. I was like,
yeah,
not to kill you. Think he would do that for you? He doesn't know you that well. I was so annoyed.
Yeah.
Darrow
like whenever that happened, I was
than
like,
yeah.
Like, yeah. So it's like whenever that happened, I was just like,
I just got really annoyed.
Shut up. That was one of where like it really sucked to know that was where their like relationship was going, because you're just like, oh, like you knew Darrow was gonna do something stupid, and he did, that ended up in the situation. Like
Darrow.
Homeboy just.
I'm just gonna get a shirt that just says "Damn it, Darrow."
That's literally like half of the series is like, damn it, Darrow.
Damn it, Darrow.
Damn it.
Darrow, no, Darrow.
Like, why? Like, this is why when people say that he's a Mary Sue, I'm like, he's a dumbass. I'm like, he does dumb shit all the time. Like, what do you mean? Half of the series wouldn't have gone the way that it would have gone if you would have just shut up and listened to somebody else. But he's like, nope, we're gonna do this my way, and get stabbed in the fucking gut.
All right, let me.
And left in the snow.
All right, 3 quick fire questions. First one, favorite character in book 1?
Several.
Yeah.
Just Darrow. Yeah,
Pax.
Pax.
Several for me, yeah, probably.
Yeah, several for me.
Like several. The moment he came on the page, I was like, "That's." I loved it.
Yeah. Favorite scene in book 1?
The coming out of the horse. Oh my god. Storming of House Minerva. There we go.
Yes.
That's my favorite. Is the yeah. I will say that was my favorite when they're hiding inside the horse corpses.
Yeah, I love that.
Was by far.
I like it when they go to where all of when they go to Olympus. I think that's definitely my favorite one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good. But I'm gonna go with Minerva.
Yeah, I'm torn between the dead horses and when Darrow knows that it's the jackal and he's like, I don't have a House Pluto ring. There's one. I was like,
oh, that was such a good scene.
My man. Anything like that, I'm like, you motherfucker. Like, yes, queen. I love it.
I did like the showdown between Apollo and Darrow too. I hated Apollo from the moment you met him, and I was just like, you're just the biggest prick in the whole world. You need to die.
Yeah, that was a really good scene.
Yeah.
There's so many good like major scenes.
I quote, like my go-to like anger moment is I'm gonna rip out your bloody damn spine. Like I just whenever I'm angry, I just yell it in a really Irish accent.
Very aggressive.
Huh?
Very aggressive.
Yeah. Yeah. Coming from a 5 foot nothing, twig, I'm very intimidating.
Very intimidating.
And
wouldn't mess with you.
Do you have a favorite line? Like if you could remember like a quote or a line, what's your favorite line?
You can all of my favorite lines are on like the fan art, that like the movie posters that I made. I really like the one that Severo says about being a sheep, like about like coming out of being a sheep. I need to find it. Look, find it. Give me a sec here.
I think my favorite was just it gets so commonly used is when Pax yells his name when he goes into battle. I just think it's the best one. Yeah, honestly.
Yep, I get that.
My favorite one is the very first one. It's like I would have lived in peace, but my enemies brought me war. I love all of that phrase, all those phrases encompass. Like that just it gives you an idea of like the shit that like is it like as soon as I picked up the book, I think that's like the first like sentence. I was like, oh,
for all the books.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like my favorite. I love the very first sentence or the very first 2 sentences in Golden Sun too. I love it. I love the way that he introduces the theme of the fucking book, like right away. That one or probably I am no gold, I am a red. I like that one too, which is also there at the very beginning.
I think My favorite line in book 1, I quoted all like I quote this book so much, man. I'm just walking around my house like Vixus, Vixus, Vixus. There are no boys. And I'm just like, I love it. I love it. I think it's the way Tim Gerard Reynolds does it. Like I can honestly
we should
say
get a shirt that just
I think
that
I
says
prefer
Daryl, you little shit.
Yeah.
Should get a shirt like that.
Yeah. I mean, there's the one in Golden Sun. Without spoiling it, where Darrow and Severo. Darrow's like, Severo, Reaper, what did you do? And Severo howls.
Oh, here we go. It's the quote. Oh yeah.
Where he steals the package from the beginning, and the package is a person. Yeah.
Okay, so I found my quote, and it's like the sacrificial lamb for someone they had plans for, and that's what Severo says. And then there's one that Adria says. It says monster in the flesh of man, and I love that he says that. And then obviously I really just like the one that's like the Reaper has come and brought hell with him.
Yes, I love that one that Daryl
that
says,
one's a good
because to me, I don't know if you guys have seen Tombstone, but it's like the Wyatt Earp scene where he says, "I'm coming, and hell's coming with me."
Yeah,
like it's just like the Iron Fist.
That's what
the sentence that Mickey says, where he talks about, he's like, I don't want to make you a man, I want to make you a god. I love that sentence where you're just like, that was one of. There's so many. I'm like looking through my phone of all of the things that I highlighted, and I'm like, I basically highlighted the entire book.
I'm thinking I have to go and buy like another copy. No, I could probably actually just use this copy and highlight like all my favorite. I have a lot of copies. I'm looking at it now.
Same.
Right. I was like, which one of the 100 copies do I want to use?
Fitchner has a really cool quote, and his quote is, "I am gold, I am king of man," and that's my favorite like gold quote. And I think it's coming out of Fitchner, who ends up.
I love Fitchner. I know. Wait, no, that's in book 2. Never mind. Okay.
We can't talk about it.
We'll talk about it next week. Okay, I'm going to get into the questions now. So I'm going to read out the questions or just comments. All right, let's have a squiz. Hello, everyone. Yes, we were talking about only book 1, but we ended up talking about a lot.
I'm trying to spoil it, but
yeah. There's not really any questions. Oh, wait. Who else just died when EO did? Not really. No. I was kind of like, see ya. Bye.
I was like, oh, tragic. Let's move on.
Damn.
I was like, oh. I was like, Daryl, no. Don't do it. I always feel bad saying I don't feel bad when she died, but I'm like, I didn't really care.
Will there be a Dark Age discussion? So there will be a Dark Age discussion, not in the next few videos, but at the end of the Iron Gold video. I don't know if you guys are going to join me for that. Feel free, obviously.
Girl, yes.
But when we get to Iron Gold, so we're doing a live show for book 2, book 3, and book 4. But at the end of Iron Gold, we'll probably do like the Dark Age themes and theories and stuff like that. So we're not kind of jumping ahead for those who haven't read the other 3. The audiobooks are great. Tim Gerard Reynolds is a god. Yes.
That's great.
The hat story with Pax. So for those of you who don't know the hat story with Pax, I believe that Piera said he killed someone, put all the names except Mustang and Darrow in a hat, and drew out Pax. And so that's why Pax.
That's right. I
So
did
he
know
killed
that
him.
story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it also broke my heart that Pax, like, his last act was to cover Darrow with his body.
Yeah.
That hurt.
The best always won.
That hurt.
Or need.
I hurt my own feelings by reading like fan fiction of like that scene in like Darrow's perspective, and I was like, I love pain. In everybody else's perspective, I was like, I love pain because everybody was upset.
Yeah.
What else? How come Dark Age went from 450 pages to almost 800? Don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Mustang.
Mustang. Brings out a POV.
Perspective.
Mustang, the fact that Pierce just wants to break all of my bones and my heart with this story because that's the only thing that's gonna make sense at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yep, he's gonna George R.R. Martin this.
Yeah, it was supposed to come out last December, and it got pushed to February.
Literally a year.
I know.
Almost a year. Crazy.
That's why, because I got 400 more pages. Thank you.
I appreciate you, but
some of these are spoilers, so I'm not going to talk about them too much because they're more book 2 and book 3. People talk about
Whoa. Can you see me?
Yeah.
Okay, I was like,
I can't see that lawnmower that just rode by you.
Oh yeah, someone's ridiculously loud car.
All right, what do you think Pierce Brown is trying to say about power through these books?
It's corrupt. That's literally like the biggest thing.
He puts his ideas of our social society into these books, and he's set a lot of his political agenda in there, and so I think that's really reflective of how he feels about our country.
I think the idea of basic power is pure, but it's obviously been contorted several different ways throughout these books by different characters, and it's basically I think with Darrow's character, in his mind, he has to become evil in order to defeat evil, and I think that's kind of.
It shows you the other side of a coin with how power can work, right?
Definitely power imbalances too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm useless and don't really have any strong feelings because I don't know anything about politics. So I'm just like, yeah.
It's like you try to guess.
I love destruction. And I know it's completely different, like over in America as to, well, it's completely different. There's a bit of a difference between like our kind of country and politics as well. So.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a chance we could get a Severo POV? Probably not. I think that's what Mustang.
That would be amazing.
See, that's the thing. I think it would be cool, but I think it would also just be a lot of like, fuck that guy, fuck this guy, fuck that guy too.
All I want to see is I want to see Severo's perspective in the Institute when he's away from by himself.
What did he do?
I want to see.
How did he steal the standard? All these questions.
Yeah, those would be good. Like, how did he do certain things?
Yeah, but I think
how did he? Oh, never mind. How did he react to the revelation in book 2? Both revelations in book 2 for his character. Papa and then Darrow.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of get Darrow's one when they're having that conversation, which makes me cry every time. But I think that's why we get. I think in Mustang's point of view in Dark Age, Severo will be in because they've so someone needs to keep an eye on Severo. So he was like,
we'll get there in the next conversation.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But yeah, I think that's everything off the top of my head, unless anyone's got anything they want to add in.
How about the fact that we did not get to see the graduation? I really wanted to see the graduation from, like, we get to see it a little bit in the Son of Aries comics, like what it entails. But I would have loved to see like Darrow receive his golden mark.
Okay, but we got the gala scene in book 2, and that makes up for every scene.
It does.
Absolutely,
it does.
We'll get there.
But yeah, I just I would have loved to see that, just because like I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot that I loved about this book that I'm just like I want to just talk about the whole thing. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, like how the shift of like what we thought it was gonna be, and then it being like in a medieval world. I didn't expect that either when we were talking about like going into like second part of the book.
Yeah.
It's big sci-fi futuristic book, and it's pretty medieval.
Set you back into the basic.
Well, I mean, that like some of the houses did have tech.
Yeah.
And it just happened to be House Mars that was like you get absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, off the top of my head, God, I love that so much.
Let me
open my book, and I'm just like Tactus. Yeah,
I literally came up to the one where it's like Pax is built like an obsidian. That's literally the first sentence I read.
Oh, Paxi. Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of.
I think we covered most of the big points.
Yeah, I think we did pretty well for an hour. A full hour of Rising.
I think next book we're gonna get into a little bit deeper.
There's gonna be some more deep.
My favorite book. We're gonna be here for like 3 days. I'm like, okay, so this happened, and then this happened. Yeah.
It'll literally be me going like,
just screaming into the board.
It could take an hour at least.
100%. Yeah. So if you guys are tuning in for the next books, please, set aside like half of your day.
Read the book.
Yeah.
Read it before you show up.
That's
I
true.
will spoil everything.
Yeah.
Don't guess
Read
here.
All right. Well,
Spoil
thank
everything.
you guys for tuning in. For everyone who's tuned in, really appreciate it. And thank you guys for joining me in my fever dream where I was like, "Hey, you guys want to talk about Red Rising?"
Thank you for including me.
And,
Yeah, no, thank you.
And I wanted to find like the purest howlers who I know are just as obsessed with this as I am. Because there's no point in getting someone who's like, yeah, I liked it. I don't have any strong thoughts about it. I was like, no, we are gonna deconstruct everything.
You're gonna live.
I will tell you
everything.
I really appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Thank you for
Alrighty, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm going to disconnect us now. Bye.